If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my.
I done been around the world. Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to MLB Player Performance, the morning show. A brand new edition of this legendary MLB show. Morning shows Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. It is Thursday, June the 12th, 2025. The Shark and the Gun. Gunz, welcome to whylose.com. Welcome to a brand new show. The Gun and I have been doing shows for 5 years. We want you guys to get to know him, obviously to dominate as well. Gunz, how you doing this morning?
Man, I am very excited to be on Why Lose, the J.A. Cavalier channel. I can't wait to break down all the content that's going to be coming out here, not only MLB, college basketball, college football, NFL, you name it, I cap it. I can't wait to do it. The Shark and the Gun are back live here on the J.A. Cavalier channel. Shark, I'm ready to go.
We got a small card here on this Thursday. This is a travel day at MLB, so matinees are limited. The full card is limited, but we're going to give you all the details. 3 games in the afternoon. MLB Player Performance starts now.
I live the bright lights, the type, the crowd lights, where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they want to be, they paid to come see me, where you at, ballers?
Thursday's theme is money, straight business, first game on the card, 1 o'clock, Citi Field in Queens. NL East Baseball, Nats, Mets. Interesting matchup here, a lot of data, and a really interesting pitching matchup. Kodai Senga versus Michael Soroka. Gunz and I were going through this off the air as Gunz had his morning coffee, and Gunz was telling me, Michael Soroka, really low whip, a lot of home runs. I think we could see an under in this game. Gunz, we're going to have a conversation, drop a few officials. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, when I first looked at this game, I always go in to see what's the expectation of this guy in the future, right? You said it. He's 1.11 whip, so that gives me a little bit of concern. He's got a 4.87 ERA. However, his expected ERA is 2.99. So there's a little bit of a variable there with a pitcher. And then you go look at Soroka. He's won 3 out of his last 4 starts, 4-2 in the first 5s in his last 6 starts. So there's a little bit of even matchup. Now, on the other side was Senga. Senga, he's got a 1.59 ERA, but a 3.31 expected ERA. He's got 3 starts under his belt against Washington. He's 0-1 in his career, 2.65 ERA, but he's 0-3 to the run line on this one. So when I look at this matchup, what I see here, I see 2 pitchers that are closer than what their numbers give out, knowing that the expected ERA for Soroka is a little bit misleading to his current. I'm not saying, because we're looking at this inflated line with the Mets here at minus 200 plus with Senga, I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but I think this is going to be relatively close, especially looking at Washington, 12-4 to the run line in their last 16 road games. I'm leaning towards the Washington plus 1.5 side on this one. I'm not officially on it, but that's the way I would bet this game.
Yeah, obviously, we're going to get some action here early. Giving you guys a free play on the show, under 8.5. And, going back to the Soroka conversation, if you guys remember, this guy was supposed to be a blue chip pitcher for the Braves. Going back about 5 years. He's bounced around since, obviously going to I believe, the White Sox last year. But this was Max Fried, and this was Michael Soroka, and a few others. This is far before Spencer Strider and Schwellenbach. This dude has had significant arm injuries. He's finding it now, and he's far better than a third starter for the Middle Ground Nationals. And as we were saying, 4.86 ERA, 1.11 whip. He's just been susceptible to the home run ball on the road. And if you actually look at the polarization of his road totals in versus outside of the division, he's 2-1 versus the over outside of the division. Only roads start within the NL East. 5-2 at Atlanta, same line, 8.5. So I think you're going to see a pitcher's duel here. And, speaking of the pitchers, I know Gunz stays up late at night reading all sorts of Japanese textbooks trying to get in the mind of Kodai Senga. But Gunz, this guy's an ace, right? I mean, he's got to keep it tight.
Absolutely. Especially you look at him at home too. He's actually got a 1.13 ERA at home this season. He's 4-1 in 6 home starts. Yeah, he's going to keep it tight on this one. I can't disagree with you on the under look on this one. I really can't. Especially you see Senga. He did face Washington on April 25th, losing that game. It was I think it was a push on that total too at 5-4. That was a minus 183 money line look on that one. So yeah, I think knowing that, like I said, you have a Soroka that's kind of got a misleading ERA. He's probably going to, not give up as many runs as anticipated, especially like you said, Shark, giving up a lot of home runs, not giving up a lot of bats, walks, and all that other stuff that would really bump up your ERA. So maybe this is more of a lower side day game. Bats may not be alive in this one. I can't disagree with you on the under.
Yeah, and a couple more points on this. You're talking about travel day, Thursday. This is obviously not basketball. The travel is so abundant in MLB. I mean, these guys are traveling constantly. So it's not as overstated. But I do think when you're finalizing a series here and then you're going to another series over the weekend, we've seen this all year. The pitchers have actually owned the lineups in these Thursday matinees. And speaking of Thursday matinees for Kodai Senga, his only one this year at home was actually May 1st at Citi Field against Arizona. Same line, 8.5 against Zach Gallen, 4-2 under. And as you mentioned, Senga did face off against the Nats on the road, 5-4. That was a 9.5 open. So this actually opens a 1 point shorter. I have this game to finish right around 7 runs. So you guys want to bet this game? We're giving you a free play on the show. Take the under at 8.5. Keeping it moving here. Also at 1 o'clock, this is a national game, MLB Network, Rangers Twins in Minnesota. And this is an interesting game. Obviously, we're looking at a slightly delayed transition here as we love first run, the episode of the Shark and the Gun here on Why Lose. But Bailey Ober matinees versus the elusive, the notorious Patrick Corbin. And Gunz, I remember years ago talking about Patrick Corbin with you in some group chats across gambling spheres across the world on the internet. This guy somehow is overperforming this year. He looks like a throwback to 2017. He is not this clean. I think Patrick Corbin is a liability for Texas today. I think Bailey Ober will pitch reasonably well, maybe some labor here. It is a matinee in Minnesota. I have some thoughts. Obviously, I'm already kind of introing into it, but Gunz, any thoughts?
Yeah, you said it. Patrick Corbin is going to be pitching for Texas, right? He's got a low whip. His expected ERA is slightly higher than what his actual ERA is right now. Texas is 2-6 straight up with Corbin's last 8 starts. Bailey Ober has a little bit higher whip. Expected ERA is a little bit higher, but not much off of where it is right now. But I like the performance of how he's done against the AL West. As you look at his numbers on this one, I think he's 8-0-1 in first fives versus the AL West dating back to 2024. He's 6-3 straight up in full game situations. But look at the 3 losses. They weren't to Texas. They weren't to, I guess you call them Sacramento at this point. You just call them the Athletics. And they're not to Houston. They were all to Seattle. So Seattle's been Ober's kryptonite. So I look in this situation with the Texas Rangers, knowing that Corbin kind of doesn't perform well, at least with Texas's bats don't perform well for him at 2-6 straight up in his last 8 starts. I think you're looking at a strong line here with Minnesota. Granted, it is kind of heavily juiced on this one, but I can't knock the fact that, Ober in this situation has performed very well. Minnesota is 1-4 straight up at home in their last 5 home games as well. Coming into this one, I think this is probably a situation we're going to be looking at a heavy line. Well, the line tells a story. Minnesota money line is the only way I'd go with this one.
Yeah, and there's honestly quite a bit more detail to this for the Ober side. Ober actually was 6-0. Not exactly win-loss. Obviously, getting a win is different than the team winning, but the team did win 6 consecutive games with him starting between April 15th and May 19th. He's actually 0-3 last 3. 2 losses in extra innings. So we talk about statistical dispersion in all different sports. When a guy's lost 3 straight, but 2 in extras, he's actually due to improve significantly. And he did lose his previous start against Toronto at home, and he's actually been fairly pedestrian in his previous 2 starts. This guy rarely strings together 3 bad starts in a row. He's usually a bounce-back pitcher from 1 bad. He has been poor for 2. I think he will bounce back here. And as I mentioned, Corbin is just not that guy. He's not overpowering. He really maxes out in the low 90s. He just tries to paint the corner and kind of just like outthink the hitter. Obviously, he's still in the major league, so he is reasonably competent. But in terms of the actual line structure here, he is actually 0-3 as a dog outside of the division. And 2 lines very similar to this current Minnesota -160 line. The Yankees at home on May 20th, Will Warren was pitching for the Yankees. Will Warren laid -180. If you guys know Will Warren, he's a rookie. He wasn't even supposed to be in the rotation for the Yankees. Like when he lays that big number, your eyes should light up. You ask yourself, did books get it right? Yes. Yankees margin win 5-2. And actually early on in April, April 8th, at Chicago Cubs, Jameson Taillon, who's also a little bit sketch, laid a very strong -160 to the Rangers and Corbin. Same thing. 10-6 margin win. So we're giving you another free play here. Take the Minnesota Twins at -161. I do want to touch on the total briefly. As I mentioned in that game at Jameson Taillon and the Cubs, 10-6, 16 runs. This Texas lineup this year has really struggled to score. I mean, this is a team that won the World Series a couple of years ago, and they look like an absolute shell of themselves from a lineup standpoint. I think this is where they might actually get some runs. I think Bailey Ober on a weekday matinee will labor. He's actually got 2 out-of-division starts this year, matinees at home, 2 wins. So staying along that win idea, 6-1 margin against Houston, 5-2 margin against Baltimore. But here's the key point. He only went 4 innings against Houston, 84 pitches. 5 innings against Baltimore, 8 hits, 1 walk, 91 pitches. So I think he's going to labor. You're going to see a lot of runners on base. They might be able to scratch a few across. He does get out of jams very effectively. I think the game goes over. I honestly see Minnesota winning this game right around 5-4. So just a comment on that. But take Minnesota. That is the best look in this game, and we will keep it moving. Next game on the card, final one of the matinee card, divisional baseball, NL West, Giants, Rockies at Coors. Tap the Rockies, maybe get a Coors Light. Not this team this year. Historically horrendous baseball from the Rockies. This team had the worst 50-game sample to start the year since 1901. Gunz, I was on here with the prop master and coach about a week ago, and I was saying, when I saw that stat, I thought it was a misprint. Since 1901. I mean, are you kidding me? They have since shown some signs, sweeping Miami in Miami. This is going to be an interesting spot here. Matinee, the sky will be high. The sun will be hot. I think the bats will be hot here too, Gunz. I think we're looking at an over as probably the best look here.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. I mean, you can play the San Francisco money line if you want and take the heavy juice as a lock, but, you know, you have to spend some hefty cash to actually get something worth taking on that one. But Hayden Birdsong on this one, you know, has won 6 straight games, 3 out of the last 4 road games, but that was against, you know, remedial opponents on that one. But he's done well against Colorado, 3-1 with a 3.38 ERA, 4 starts versus the NL West, and he's 2-0 versus the aforementioned Colorado Rockies. But he's going against Senzatella. I think this is where the cap is on this game. 1.97 whip, 6.68 ERA, expected ERA 7.1. And the numbers on this one, you could just take them, like you said, from the side standpoint, Colorado is awful. But when we look at the total side on this one, like you're talking about, Shark, over is 4-1 in Senzatella's starts when the total is 11 or more. Right now, it's sitting at 11. It's also the over is 4-1 in Colorado games versus divisional opponents this year when the total is 10 or more. The only non-cover was game 1 of this series, and it missed by a hook on the closing line. So what I'm saying is, when the number is telling a story here and you have a pitcher that is just absolutely terrible, you're going to be looking at a San Francisco team that is probably going to be carrying the load for this total. But I like it nonetheless. I think it's the best look out of the three in the early games. Like you said, Shark, we agree. San Francisco, Colorado over the total 11 is the way I'd go.
Yeah, you said you think the Giants might carry this over. Well, Sensatella's only home weekday matinee of the year, they played against Milwaukee on Wednesday, April 9th. Milwaukee scored 17 runs. So there's your road team carrying the total over. And, I think, again, this is not even summertime yet, obviously late spring. But historically, when we get into the summer in Colorado, the air gets even lighter than it is when it's cold weather. The ball flies out of this stadium, and you see incredibly high totals, particularly in hot weather. And that is pretty much what we're dealing with here. And obviously in the middle of the afternoon on a weekday. And just final point on this, in terms of the actual numbers and line functionality, we are data abundant here, divisional baseball. Hayden Burnside last year did face off against the Rockies twice. Both went under significantly, 3-2 at Colorado, 5-0 in the Bay. Lines were 10.5 and 7.5. So you get two extreme unders, and now it's jumped up to 11. Let that tell you the story. And Antonio Sensatella did face off against San Francisco Friday, May 2nd, also in the Bay. 4-0 San Francisco. That was Robbie Ray on the bump. Key point there, low line as well, 8.5. In-season line functionality, 8.5, 4, now 11. I have this projected to hit 14 or 15 runs. This is going to be an entertaining game, and this is the beauty of handicapping sports and betting sports. This game is an absolute grease fire game in the middle of the afternoon in Colorado. Take the over and let's cash. A fast 17 minutes of the morning games, afternoon games, I should say, and we have best bets. Thursday's theme is money, the shark and the gun pilot episode of MLB Player Performance, the morning show. We appreciate you guys immensely in the chat. Gunz Picks, I think you at least have one top play, if not two.
Yeah, I think there was the last play on the board. Are we going to be taking the San Francisco, Colorado over the total here at 11? It's the only way to take this one. I think we've exhausted talking about Sensatella, but I think this is going to be the bats are going to be rocking there for San Francisco in this game, especially with that thin air in the Rockies. The only play I'd want to go on this one is San Francisco, Colorado over the total of 11.
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys three because we're sitting here. The only top play, this will be a VIP play. We're giving you guys a VIP play to open this show. Take the over at Coors 11. Show plays here. These are free plays, not VIP plays. Take Minnesota at -160 and take the under in the Nats-Mets game at 8.5. And speaking of all that, we've been doing parlays on these shows for a while now for fun, just to interact with people. We always say put $5 or $10, spray the board with us. We give you the top looks. We did actually hit one of these in the NBA going back a few months. They do pay out 40 or 50 units, so it's very low risk. It's fun. I'm talking about betting Coors baseball at Coors for fun to just kind of lighten the mood. Why not? So, Gun, let's put together maybe a 5 or 6 legger and just see if we can come up with a winner here. Start us off with 1 or 2, and then I'll just jump through it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to put the total on there, right? We got to put San Francisco, Colorado over the total. That we agree across the board on this one. That Minnesota one, as juicy as it is, that's a perfect one that you could put in a parlay. Even in this one that we're doing for the show, that would be a great one to just put in with another a strong line look on another game for the Thursday slate. That would be one of the legs that I would put on there, is that Minnesota money line. So those two, I think, have to go on the card.
Okay, so Minnesota money line, and what was the other one? Oh, the over at Coors, of course. All right, we'll also roll with the under at Citi Field, which I also played, 8.5. And we will also look at the Mets money line.
Yeah.
Also take the San Francisco Giants money line, I think. That would be certainly the correct side there.
Right. These strong juiced up lines where, the probability of those covering are relatively high. We don't expect Colorado to pull out a victory. What are they, 3-20 in their last 23 home games? So that's a good one to put on there for sure. And then the same thing with Senga getting a heavily juiced line. The heaviest juice line out of all the 3 starts, by the way, against Washington. Granted, Soroka has pitched very well. I think it may be one of those elements that once you get the starters out of the game and you go to the bullpens, it's going to be a New York story. So that I like those looks for sure.
Yeah, so that is 6. So we're going all 3 games. Mets money line, under Nats Mets, Minnesota money line, over Rangers Twins, San Francisco money line, over Giants Rockies. So we're going to just tell you guys that Burnsy's in the background having a hell of a time. We love Burnsy, and we appreciate you guys in the chat. So that's a 6-leg parlay. That should pay right around plus 3,000, I would imagine, or somewhere in that range, maybe plus 1,800 to 2,700.
Pizza money. That's what they say, right? Get a little pizza money on that one and see what happens. We're not saying you got to put your entire mortgage on this one, of course. We're saying, a little fun on a Thursday. Don't hurt a little on these early games, a little early cash potential.
Gunz here, first run, giving you guys a little insight. We don't bet parlays to pay the bills. We bet them for fun. But we do give you guys all the top looks, and that's why they're actually worth betting, because we will hit one every couple months, and we will be up over the long haul. And speaking of being up over the long haul, it is the Shark and the Gun MLB player performance on this Thursday morning. Gunz, welcome to whylose.com. Welcome to the best times. We're going to jump off, and we're going to prosper for everybody. Give them some words, and I'll close it out.
Yeah, appreciate everybody here that's been watching the show. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the J Cavalier channel if you haven't done so already. Of course, check us out on Telegram. Why Lose Guns? Why Lose Shark? If you haven't done that as well, join the channel, get the plays, and just enjoy the banter and the libations for this one on this beautiful Thursday. So appreciate you having me on. Love it. Let's go.
Absolutely. Thursday's theme is money. And as I said, we will be on here every Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, full show, actually, Saturday and Sunday. We're covering the entire card. So now MLB player performance is 7 days a week. And, of course, a big shout to Jay Cavalier, the prop master Luke Shuey, and Coach Rick as well. For Gunz, I am the Shark. That is MLB player performance, the morning show, Thursday, June the 12th, 2025. Stay strong, stay fast, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing.